Hello, my name is Søren Schultz Hansen. I'm a research scientist and business consultant specialized in digital natives, how they are managed and what unique qualities they possess. The next 10 minutes I'll give you a very short introduction to these digital natives. I call them Class of 2012 because the first full and genuinely digital generation was born in 1994, together same time as the modern internet and the mobile phone, and they turned 18 last year in 2012, and that's why I call them Class of 2012. Let's just start with a short video from YouTube. It's a very young girl, younger than 1 year old, and the video shows how she handles an iPad and a magazine. Let's watch it. Starting with the iPad, no problem there. Then she gets to a magazine and look, she's trying to zoom in it. And again, she's trying to swipe, she's trying to scroll. Doesn't work either. Zooming again. Boring. And then again, she tries to click. It must be a link. She's trying to click on the link. Doesn't work. And then she tries to click on herself. It's my finger that's not working. And it goes on like that. We don't need to see anymore. Well, of course, this girl is very young, but her actions, the way she behaves, her relationship to different media is very representative even to older generations of digital natives. So let's just see a few quotations from my research. First one. Other than the internet, what could you have used? We could also have used a newspaper, but we most probably would not. Would you ever do it? No. Why? We have no experience. Of course, digital natives have no experience with old media. Their experience lies in the new digital media. These are the media that they know, that they use, that they intuitively understand, whereas the book, a magazine, the newspapers are unknown media to them. Let's just take another quotation. It's Nikolai. I'm watching some TV with my dad. He kind of forces me. He says I should just stick with it. It's nice to be up to speed with what is happening. I'm just trying to look back at myself and my dad and wondering if my dad would urge me to watch more TV. No, I don't really think so. When we look at a generation of digital natives, it's extremely important to understand that these new media, this mobile media, has to do with intimacy, not distant, and even physical intimacy at some point. And I've just shown you a picture of a vibrating iPhone on silence. And when you ask adult people why they put their iPhone on silence, normally they say it's not to be disturbed. And it's considered polite when you're in a meeting or in other similar situations that you put your mobile phone on silence, not to disturb. So that makes quite a lot of sense. But what's interesting is that I asked Class of 2012, the digital natives, the same question: why do you put your mobile phone on silence? And the answer they gave me was the exact opposite. The reason why digital natives put their mobile phone on silence and vibration is they need an insurance that they are always disturbed. And they can only have that kind of guarantee. They can only be sure that they'll always notice when they get a text or when someone is calling them one way, because sometimes they're in a bar or some other place with loud music or loud noise and they might not hear the phone. The only way they can be absolutely sure always to notice when they have an SMS is to put their mobile phone on silence and on vibration and keep it in a place so close to their body that they can actually feel it moving. Let's take a few quotations from my research. I have text on vibration. If I have it in my pocket, in my pants, no matter how much noise there is, I will still be able to feel it. I never switch on phone on my mobile. And another one, where do you keep your phone? In my pocket, always. Don't you ever wear dress or skirt? Yes, of course. Then it's placed here in my bra. So digital natives have already become cyborgs. Don't consider it as something, a future vision or some philosophical mumbo jumbo. This is very real and very now. They are already cyborgs. One of the most important, perhaps the most important media for them, the mobile phone, only works if they keep it almost as a part of their body. It has grown to be almost a part of their body. Well, this is very important to understand, and let me just give you another example to illustrate how much this means. Try to imagine that you're standing with some of your colleagues or some of your friends talking to them, and I come up to you and I poke you on the shoulder. What would you normally do? I think you would normally look over your shoulder, look at me over your shoulder, and perhaps ask me what I wanted and get it out of the way, and then get back to your friends. It's extremely difficult to ignore someone poking you on the shoulder, and I'm sure that I would think it was extremely impolite if I poked you on your shoulder and you did ignore me, because I would consider it something you did on purpose, deliberately ignoring me. If we go one slide back to the vibrating mobile phone, the physical and tactile effects a mobile phone vibrating in the strap of your bra or in your pocket is almost identical to the effect a finger poking you on your shoulder has. So this is the situation you have to compare it to when you are talking face to face to digital natives and they check a text or their mobile while you're talking to them, is really that they are poked on the shoulder. And this is why they must always check their mobile phones. They can't help it, the same as you can't help reacting when someone is poking you on the shoulder. Let me just take it even a step further to illustrate how intimate and how physical these media are. I did an interview with a boy and a girl who were boyfriend and girlfriend, and they told me that the last thing they did together was that they sent, just before they went to bed or just before they went asleep, they sent an SMS to each other saying, good night, sleep tight, see you tomorrow, hugs, or something like that. And the first thing they did in the morning when they woke up was again to send an SMS. Good morning, did you sleep well, see you in school in a few minutes. So we're talking about a girl who's lying in bed, sending an SMS to a boy who's also lying in bed. I know it's another bed a few blocks away, but what literally happens is that this girl caresses the boy's body via the mobile phone. These two, the boyfriend and girlfriend, are actually in bed together by this mobile phone. And the physical intimacy they achieve via the mobile phone is actually bigger than the physical intimacy they've achieved in real life, because these were young teenagers of 14-year-old, and they had most of them not yet gotten to sleeping together. But the physical, even physical intimacy they get via the mobile phone is far greater than the one they've actually achieved in real life. Okay, when we're talking about digital natives, there are kind of 3 levels of relation they can have. This is the first one. Mostly boys doing a lot of online gaming. They meet friends in games and they add these friends to Facebook, or they exchange phone numbers, and they develop quite a deep and good friendship with these people, and they're together a lot, but they haven't seen each other even once in real life. The relation is only virtual. This exists, and it's not so rare. However, it's not the most common way of being together for digital natives, because this is the most common way of being together for the digital natives, where you're together both in the physical world and in the virtual world. And my research and other research clearly shows that the ones we are friends with, good friends with in the physical worlds, are also the ones we chat the most with, we talk with on Facebook, and that we send most texts to. So really the most dominant development is that the 2 worlds melt together, and that the digital natives don't see these 2 worlds as parallel worlds. And then there is the third way of being together, the third kind of relationship, and that's the real one. That's the one where we're together in real life, face to face, without an SMS interrupting, without needing to check an update on Facebook. That's the genuine way of being together. And I asked the digital native class of 2012 about this kind of relationship, and one of the answers I got was this: do you have any such good friends that you only have in real life but we don't text with? Nope. That's really a strange question. Of course it's a strange question. Of course it's difficult, maybe even impossible, for digital native, for class of 2012, to even grasp a relationship that doesn't include media, that doesn't include also the virtual relationship. So a purely virtual relationship exists. However, it's not the most common, because the most common is when the relationship exists both in the virtual and the physical world. And a purely physical relationship is something that's nearly impossible for digital native to understand. So to sum up, new media are known media for digital natives, obviously. Whereas the book, the magazine and the newspaper are so mid-90s, they would argue. Then you need to know that class of 2012 are all cyborgs. This is not something that's in a philosophical sense. This is very real. And that digital media actually creates an even physical intimacy rather than it creates a distance. And again, you must understand that receiving an SMS is like being poked on the shoulder. And then last but absolutely not least, that you need to understand that the virtual world and the physical world are one world rather than parallel universes. And to talk about social media as something specific, something, a genre of its own, doesn't really make any sense, because to digital natives, obviously all media are social, and all social interaction and social behavior is mediated. And again, for these digital natives, the transition between one world and the other is often totally seamless. So with these words, I'll just say welcome to class of 2012, the first generation of digital natives.